What's up YouTube, Craig Peters here, and today we're going to be checking out the Kali Audio LP-8s. Now, I did a review for the Kali Audio LP-6s. If you want to check that out, you can pause this video, go up here, watch that, because that's a little bit more of a spec review. This one we're just going to be kind of talking about the differences and what I like and dislike about these speakers. Not much to dislike, but just to talk about the pros and cons of each. So the Kali Audio LP-8s are the big brother to the Kali Audio LP-6s. Now the 6s are a 6.5-inch monitor. They're front ported, which is definitely a huge plus if you're like me and you're in a smaller room and you don't want to have a lot of low end buildup in the corners and that sort of thing. So the LP-8s are definitely here. Let me go ahead and show you guys the speaker real quick. Now this guy right here, I don't even know if I can get it all the way in. This thing, if you compare it to my head, it's probably like 3 times the size of my head, if not probably 4. My head's not that big, but this thing is pretty huge. This big guy right here, this is the LP-8. Now, an 8-inch monitor is gonna lead to a lot more low end. So the LP-6s have a huge amount of low end for how big of a monitor they are, which, I mean, like I said, it's a 6.5-inch woofer, but they're front ported, but the way the port design is set up, if you can see on here, it's very wide, which I think really helps lend to that even disbursement of low end. It's a lot more of a cleaner low end. It's not very muffled or choky or anything like that. So with these, it's even more low end. So if you're doing a lot of like EDM, hip hop, stuff that requires a lot of that sub, this is your guy right here. Now, if you're wondering about the price point of these monitors, it's $249 a speaker, so it's about $500 for the pair, which is a killer deal. The LP-6s are $300 for the pair. So if you're looking to go from maybe something along the lines of like a 5, 6, 7-inch monitor to some 8-inch monitors because you want to, let's say, a little bit more low end, $500 for the pair is an extremely good deal, especially because not only is the low end a selling point about this speaker, just the overall frequency, stereo imaging. I mean, that's like the first thing that I really realized that I liked about these monitors, is because I feel like, I've tested some other monitors. I used to have some Yamaha HS50s, and immediately once I got the LP6s, I stopped using them. Just because of overall mix translation. Bringing my mixes from here with the Kali Audio LP6s, everyone has that moment where when you're doing mixes and you do like, the car test, and you're just like, you have that moment where you're just kind of like, you're face palming it, you're like, this sounds horrible, sounds nothing like what I think I've been working on. Now the LP6s actually made me feel like, okay, like I'm getting closer, because having something that translates is a must. You don't want to be fighting your monitors, and I feel like that's what I was kind of doing with other ones. So with these, pros and cons, when I first loaded these up, I kept the, if you look in the back, there's this EQ boundary control right here. Now these little switches where you see that little blue strip with all the little switches, those are the EQ boundary controls, and with these, you can sort of dial them in for your room. Now, if let's say you have a smaller room or if you have them on stands and all that kind of thing, all of these little images right here they tell you like, okay, if you have this sort of setup, you want to dial in the EQ boundary controls, this way or that way. When I first plugged them in, I had everything just, bypassed. I didn't have any of these EQ controls engaged. Now, when I first started listening to them straight away, I noticed that there was some adjustments I needed to make because, like I said, my room's pretty small. Now, when I first plugged these in and started listening to them, without any of the EQ controls engaged, I noticed that I needed to tweak them for my room because my room's relatively small, and there was a lot of sort of like low, mid, and lows, and just like everything, it was a little bit just needed to be tightened up. So I made some tweaks. I turned on the first, because there's 8 different switches on here, 8 different dip switches. I engaged the first one, the 4th one, and the 7th one. And this is just kind of cleaning up a little bit of like, sort of like the highs and the low mids, and just to kind of tighten it up a little bit. I mean, I could probably adjust these even more, but I felt like this sort of got me closer to how my LP6s sounded. Now, those I did a lot of tweaking and just kind of engaged a lot of them, and it just tightens it up. Like, you start to hear a little bit more of the clarity and how the music's supposed to sound. So low end, I played some metal through these. I played some orchestral music through these. I played, anything from electronic music or dubstep, anything just kind of like to push them and see how they sound. Now, these things can get loud. I didn't really crank these at first. I kind of wanted to just, get an idea of how they sound. As far as compared to the LP6s, I mean, they're pretty close. I feel like the LP6s are probably better suited for my room, but having these is a way of sort of testing out, maybe if I want to hear a little bit more of the low end aspects of a mix, I'll use these. I mean, you can totally use these even just by themselves, but if you want to, let's say, have that reference point, I think these are perfect for testing that on. And like I said, I don't even use my sub anymore because I don't feel like I need it. As far as, if you're wanting something to just to have for listening purposes, let's say you're not even doing mixing, you just want some, good sounding speakers to just kind of jam some music on, these things are really fun to listen to because, like I said, they get loud. I don't even think I fully cranked them as loud as they could go, but yeah, these suckers get pretty loud. And just overall, I mean, if you want to get like I said, if you want to get like a full spec review, check out the LP6s as far as, talking about, a little bit more of the details of the speaker. But I think with this, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, as far as, I guess the specs that I really like about these monitors, the waveguide in the front, super wide, which the cool thing about this is that you don't need to be in like the sweet spot. It sort of takes the sweet spot and opens it up a little bit more. So you can you don't have to necessarily be kind of like pinpoint to a certain listening position, which I really like. Of course, 8-inch woofer. And the port tube is just super wide. Now, these monitors are big. They're pretty solid. I mean, as far as build goes, these things are awesome. And as far as the connections in the back, there's an RCA, there's a 1/4 inch, and there's an XLR for bounce cables. So yeah, I'm gonna say that if you're looking for some really affordable, great sounding 8-inch monitors for just, you need a little bit more low end as far as your monitoring goes, definitely check out the LP-8s by Cali Audio. So I'm also going to be doing a shootout video here very shortly between the Adams T5Vs and the Cali Audio LP6s, because those, I think, if there's any speakers out there that are probably competing with the LP6s, it's probably going to be the lower, more entry model versions of the Adams monitors. So look out for that in the future. Subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye.